welcome to our Crazy Life Scotland. My name's Fiona, and in today's video I'm going to be trying out a new epoxy resin which has been sent to me by JDiction, and this is a new formula which apparently cures enough to demold in 4 hours and cures completely within 8 to 10 hours. Now, you may know that normal resin takes about 24 hours before you can demold it and up to 72 hours before it's completely cured, which is why until now I haven't actually tried using epoxy resin. I have been enjoying using UV resin. So when the lovely people at JDiction reached out to me and asked if I would like to try this, I thought, perfect idea, because I'm impatient when it comes to crafting. I want quick results. I don't want to have to wait 3 and 4 days before I can actually use my pieces. So I thought I would make a little video of this just to show you what you get and how to use it. Well, we'll learn together how to use it because I've not got a clue. Let's see the results we get. Let's see if it can be demolded within 4 hours and if it's fully cured within 8 to 10 hours. Like I said, I have been gifted this, but I've not been paid, I'm not sponsored. All of the opinions that I give you will be honest and my own opinion. Now, I got this from Amazon and I think it's $27.99. I'll double check and pop it on the screen for you. And it says on it, it resists yellowing because some epoxy resins can go yellow. It's VOCs free, it's non-toxic, it has got a low odour, high gloss, self-leveling, fast curing and crystal clear. So let's test all of these out and see. So in the box you get resin A and resin B. Now you have to mix equal amounts of the 2 resins together, and it has to be by volume, not by weight, because I'd got my scales out ready to weigh it, and then I read the instructions which also come in the box and discovered that it's by volume. So I have now got a measuring spoon instead of scales. The instructions are very clear. It does look quite complicated, but I'm sure once you actually go through it, it's not really that complicated. But I would definitely advise you to read all of the instructions before you start playing with it. So before I show you everything that I've got, I'm going to measure out my resin because one of the instructions is that it has to sit in warm water for a few minutes before you start using it. So I will measure it out and have it sitting in the water while I show you the other bits and pieces that I've got. Because it is fast curing, you only get about half an hour to use it once you've mixed it up. So it is advisable to have everything to hand that you're going to need so that you can work quite quickly. Now, first things first is safety. When you're using epoxy resin, it does say it's non-toxic, however, it's still chemicals, so always make sure you wear gloves. Some people do like to use a respirator or an extractor fan to take away the fumes, and I would say that if you are using a lot of it for a long period of time, that would be advisable. However, I am just going to be using it for a short period of time. I've got my window open and I am going to wear a mask just to be on the safe side. It does say low odour, but we need to be safe. So I am going to measure this out. So I've got bottle A. Oh, this is maybe going to make a lot of resin. I maybe don't need as much as this. But I've started now, so I'll have to finish. I didn't realise how big that spoon actually is. Right, I'm going to pop it into this cup. That's actually an old chocolate mousse tub, I think. So I'm just going to pop that in I've got a bowl of hot water just beside me there. Talking about safety, always have something protecting your work surface. I've got a glass chopping board on my desk so that if there's any spillage, it gets caught on that and not on my desk. Right, then we have bottle B, and we need an equal amount of that. I'm going to pop that in the water beside the other one. Right, so they will be heating up just now. I'm going to show you the other things that I've got. I have got a mould here. It's just got different shapes and letters and all the good stuff. I've got this little mould here, which is very cute, and it's for little bows. A couple of different colours of mica powder. These are also from JDiction, but I did pay for these myself. I've got a nice golden yellow and apple green, some silver glitter. So the idea is I'm going to do some clear resin, and I'm going to colour some with the mica powder or the glitter. I've also got little bits to put in it. I've got some beads there. You can use dried flowers, but make sure they are properly dry. I think you can use pretty much anything dry in it. I've got some little heart confetti. These little sort of iridescent nail foils. I've got some tweezers to pick up the little bits and put them into place, and I've got a little toothpick to either pop any bubbles or move things about in the mould. This is actually a ring setting. It's a bit big for my liking, but I thought it would be good just to see what it looks like with the resin in it. And I've got a little bezel to make a pendant. I've also got a candle lighter to lightly go over the resin before we let it cure, just to get rid of any last minute bubbles. And I think that's everything. I've got my little spoon for my mica powder. Right, I think we're ready to get mixing. I'm a bit scared. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit scared. I'm going to use, that's the other thing I've got some little disposable cups here as well. They've been sitting long enough, I think. Oh, this also comes in the box. Your little sort of scrapey tool for scraping and mixing. See how much thinner that is now that it's been in the warm water, my goodness. Do apologise if you hear the dogs barking or see them playing. They always wait until I start filming. So now the instructions tell you that you need to stir it for a good 3 to 5 minutes to make sure that it's properly mixed and that there's no swirls left. And I think you want to do it quite slowly. You want to make sure that you scrape the sides and the bottom so that it's all mixed properly. So I shall do that and then come back to you once it's mixed. Right, I think that's it well mixed. Now there are a lot of bubbles in there, so I'll just need to be careful once I pour it into the mould to make sure all the bubbles are out. Either using my toothpick to pop them or using the lighter. What I will say is these moulds are quite deep, so I'm not going to fill them right up, because I think obviously the thicker they are, the longer they'll take to cure. So in order to get a proper sort of idea of curing time, I don't want to make them too deep. So I want to do this O to see what it's like with a bit in the middle. Right, what will we put in here? Let's put some, well, we put some little beads in here. Right, let's put a couple of different colours in. I took my gloves off to open the beads, but should have put them back on. These are just little glass seed beads that I picked up from the pound shop, One Below I think it was. Right, I'm going to put my gloves back on. I'm going to take my little toothpick. I'm sure they're pretty much where I want them to be. I've not put too many in, and you don't want to mess about with it too much because you will create bubbles. There we go, that'll do I think. Let's do a colour, shall we? So what I'm going to do is put a little drop of the resin into another cup. What will we do? Let's do some glitter, will we? Some silver glitter that I've got here, and again, you don't want too much, less is more. It has to be less than 6% of the total volume that you add to it. I'm going to give that a good stir, mix it all through. Now, you can't use any water-based colourant, so like water-based ink. However, you can use glitter, you can use alcohol ink, you get liquid pigments for resin, and you also get the mica powder as well that you can use. I'm going to pop it in this heart. Oh, it's awkward with gloves. Make sure it gets right into the edges. Right, we need a little bit more in there, I think. Like I say, I don't want to fill it right up because I don't want it to be too deep. I think I might do another heart with with the clear resin and put some of the little heart confetti in. So I'll make a bigger one. It is levelling itself off nicely. Right, I'm going to add some of this heart confetti in there. Glove back on. I'm going to take my little toothpick and just move them about. I don't want them to be perfectly placed in any way. I just want them to look random, but not all bunched together. Right, that'll do that one. So I'm just going to pour some of the clear resin in here. Take my yellow mica powder, and again, you don't need a lot at all. I'm just going to put that much in. Again, give it a good mix round. I think I'll do this little flower. Now, I don't think my surface is very level, which isn't helpful. It's best to have a level surface. Yeah, that's too thin. We'll add a wee bit more to that. Yeah, I've definitely got a feeling it's not very level, but for the purposes of this video, we should be fine. I'm also going to use the yellow to make one of the little bows in this mould. These moulds aren't as deep, so I shouldn't need as much. I went over the edge a little bit there, but that's okay because if you do over pour, you can sort it out once it's cured. You can sand it down. What I might actually do is try to scrape some of this into here. I don't know if we're meant to do that or not. In fact, this one could be half yellow and half green, couldn't it? So I'm going to do some green now. So I'm just pouring some more clear into this cup. And now I'm going to add some of the green mica powder. Again, you don't need a lot. Give it a good stir up. I must say, this mica powder, it wasn't expensive. It was $9.99 I think for 50 different colours off Amazon, and it is excellent. It mixes really well. You can see how well and how quickly it's mixing with the resin. It's really good. I'm going to pour some of this into this little leaf shape, I think. That's looking good. I'm not going to add anything to that, I don't think. And then I'm going to make a green bow and add some green to the yellow in the other bow. Right, I'm going to scrape some of it off into that one. And again, once it cures, I'll show you how easy it is to get rid of any little excess bits that have been maybe over the edge of the mould. Obviously, as I get better at it, I would like to think I wouldn't make as much mess as that, but you never know. You never know. I've got my little bezel. Now, we don't need a lot of this at all. So I'm going to put some clear in here, and then I'm going to add some of the little nail foil-y things, and I'm hoping that the dark background will make the iridescent aspect of it really stick out. Oh, what a mess, Fiona. I've maybe overfilled this slightly, but we'll go with it because it's just an experiment. Right, what have we got in here? I think that's little hearts at the end. Yeah, I think that's little hearts. Because my hands are a wee bit sweaty with the gloves, the little foily things are sticking up on my finger, so that's handy. Well, we do some other shapes. What else have we got in here? Just wee circles. Glove back on. Now this one's hanging out. We'll take this one out. In fact, let's pop it back in there. It's actually doming itself quite nicely, so I don't want to play with it too much. Now, the problem that I've got here is obviously the ring is a ring shape, so it won't sit level. What I'm going to do is put it in the L and hope that it stays level. We'll find out. So I've got the red mica powder here. This mica powder was a freebie from JDiction. When I bought the other mica powders, there was a little card in it that said, "Thank you for your purchase. Would you like a freebie?" So that's how I actually got talking to them in the first place. So this big jar is an 80-gram jar, and I think it's worth about $9.99, and I got it for nothing. It wasn't gifted, it wasn't for doing this video, it was just anybody who buys that product would get the card to say, "Have a freebie." I can feel the resin starting to thicken up a bit again already. Right, so I'm going to pop this on the ring. Let's see how level it is. It's not overly level. Let's try and level it up a bit. Hopefully that's level. Now there is actually room for a little bit more in the ring, so I think what I might do is let it set for a wee while and then add some of the glitter to it. Right, so that's the most plain that I'm going to do. So I'm going to off camera now, I'm just going to use up the resin that I've got left in the mould. Now, I definitely had made too much, so I've just done other bits and pieces as well. I've attempted to do, you can't really see it there, my little fox that I had made out of polymer clay, but I've made a mess because it wasn't level. It's already got magnets on the back, and I'm attempting to do my wee pizza as well. Wanted to show you the final step, which is to try to get rid of any bubbles. You want to use fire, but do not get too close because it could catch light, and you really don't want that to happen. And I have to say, while I'm here, that I know I've got a window open and I've got a mask on, but I cannot smell anything at all. So when it says low odour, it really is low odour, but I've not got any experience with other epoxy, so I don't know how bad it normally smells, but I honestly can't smell anything at all. Right, so I will come back to you in 4 hours time and we'll see how we're doing with this. Hello again. It has been it's actually been almost 5 hours because, well, I was busy, but also it occurred to me that it's quite cold in here today, so I wanted to give it a little bit longer just to be on the safe side, because the temperature of the room will obviously affect how long it takes to cure. Let's see if we can demold them. So there is the ring. I am going to still, it feels nice and hard, and it looks relatively well domed. It's not quite flat, so I might just put a wee bit UV resin on the top of that, but I quite like it. I like how it's got the glitter just in the middle. Before the resin had set, I just put a wee blob of the silver glitter resin in it, and that's the effect that it's had. Let's take a smallish one out and hope for the best. Oh look! I mean, it's still soft, it's still tacky, but it is demolding, no bother. I had made way too much, so that's why there's quite a lot here that you didn't actually see me pour. Let's see this one. This was with the silver glitter, and this is a very thick one as well. Look, isn't that pretty? And yeah, it's coming out no bother. Now this one's got bits in it, so yeah, it's coming out okay as well. So you can't see any of the bits on that side, but you can see them there. Oh, I like that. Oh, it's very soft. It's very soft. I'm going to put it down. So it is demolding, but it is quite soft. There's the O. I'm happy with that, how that's turned out. Again, it's soft, but it's came out. There's a lot of bubbles in that one, so that's a lesson to be learned. We'll be able to see them again properly tomorrow, later on today. Well, it will be tomorrow now, because it's 8 to 10 hours for it to fully cure, and by that time I will be in my berry. Let's see the little star. Wow, they're looking good. I mean, obviously if you were to leave them in the moulds longer, like to set properly or to cure properly, it would be better. Right, so this one isn't as thick. I love that. I love the glitter. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the others in overnight to cure, and we'll have a look at these ones tomorrow. Let's have a look at one of the little bows. They might be a little bit soft just now still. Because they're joined together, I'm going to let them cure properly before I take them out, I think. Had a bit of an accident with the bezel. It's kind of stuck to the board. You might be able to see the spillage there. That was because when I moved the board, it wasn't level, and a lot of the resin that was in here poured out, and I should have cleaned it at the time, but I was lazy, and now this is the problem I've got. Oh. Look at the shiny! Wow! I love how that shimmers and shines. Now obviously I messed up. I did fill it way too full, so it's gone right over the edges. But I love the holographic effect of the little nail foils. Isn't that brilliant? I will come back to you tomorrow morning first thing, and we'll see what it's all like when it's fully cured. See you then. Good morning. It is now the next morning, and it is time to demold properly and see if it is fully cured, because this resin is supposed to be fully cured within 8 to 10 hours, which would have been last night, but it was too late for me to film. So it's less than 24 hours since I mixed it and moulded it. So it's still, if it was normal epoxy, it still wouldn't be ready to demold yet, but hopefully this is going to be fully cured. Let's have a look and see. Right, so I have got the moulds here. The things I demolded yesterday, I put back into the moulds just to fully cure yesterday. There is the ring. I've still not domed it with UV resin yet, but you get the idea. Isn't it lovely and glittery and sparkly? It's too big for my taste because I've got very small hands, so I don't like big rings. But you get the idea anyway. The little bling. Look how shiny that is. So the epoxy resin must be really, really clear to be able to see the shiny bits as well as that. That is lovely. I made a mess of pouring it, but the actual resin is looking lovely. It's very smooth and glossy. Now to demold. Here is our letter O, and as you can see, it's got the little beads in it. This is the one that I put beads in. Now you can see some bubbles there. That was my fault, not the resin. That would have been when I was mixing the bead round probably. But it is solid. This reminds me of a little sweet. It's just a little sort of flowery shape. And it's just plain red. Look how glossy it is. And again, it is solid. We demolded this yesterday as well. Very glittery, and again completely solid. I'm impressed, I really am impressed that this is fully cured in less time than it would take for normal epoxy to be demolded. Really, really impressed. Oh, look at the leaf. I love that colour, that mica powder. Now that's a weird shape because it was bent slightly when I demolded it yesterday and it was still a little bit soft, so that's why it's not weird, it's quirky. The same with this. So this one, on the bottom of it, just looks green, but if you look at that side, you can see all the little shinies that I ended up putting in. So that's a reversible one, really. I love that. I love those holographic nail foils. They were so cheap as well. Ooh, look at that. Again, you can see the bubbles, but that will be my fault. Put it against some paper, that's easier to see. There are a few bubbles, but that will be my fault. So that was just the clear resin, and I put a few little stars in. I like that, and you can see the shape around the edges, so it does hold the shape very well. This was really just when I was using up the resin, so I did a wee circle with some little red sequins in it. Again, a few bubbles, but that will be my fault, not the resin, and it's solid. That's the reverse side of it. Another little leaf shape in the green. Just dropped it. But yes, it definitely is solid. Did you hear that when it dropped? It's definitely solid. Fully cured. I demolded this yesterday as well. Look at that glittery star. Look at the glitter in that. That is amazing. Did I say star? That's a glittery heart, Fiona. So this one's a glittery star. That is gorgeous. We've got that lovely little shape, little flowery shape. That would be gorgeous with a nice yellow gemstone in the middle to make a little flower. That's not bad at all. That's not too bubbly. This is the same shape but a smaller version in the yellow. They're lovely. Now this heart, I had just used clear glitter and then the little purple heart sequins. Isn't they gorgeous? And then at the last minute I added some red into the back. So it gives it a bit of texture, a bit of depth, and just a bit of interest really. That's nice. And for being such a big piece, again, it is solid, fully cured. Another little yellow piece. Look, how nice is that? With a little leaf. Oh, I might do something with that. I like that. And this one, I basically just kept layering with the ends of all the different pots that I had with the different colours. So we've got some red, we've got some glitter, we've got some yellow, and we've got some green. And it's quite interesting looking, isn't it? Obviously, if I had given it time to cure a little bit in between layers, it would have been more distinct, but I didn't. That was why I was just using the resin up. Although I did see an interesting video yesterday on what to do with leftover resin to stop it going to waste, so that is good. And finally, we've got the little bows. Now, I didn't try to demold these yesterday because, as you can see, they have kind of connected on top, and I did try to use my X-Acto knife to separate them, but it was squashing them a bit, so I just left it. So if I take them out now, we have got 3 bows together, but it should be easy enough to trim them. So I'm going to trim them and then let you see what they look like. That's them all trimmed up. I did see a little hint on YouTube that if you need to trim your resin once it's fully cured, heat up your knife or your scissors first, and it works. So here is the little yellow bow. I love the details. You see it? Granny Annie might use these for her baby boxes. Little green bow. And if you remember, I made one that was half and half, so that's yellow and green. Isn't that nice? I still need to do a little bit of sanding on it. And I might even put a little coat of UV resin on it with a little diamante in the middle. I think that would be really cute. So that's everything that I made with the epoxy resin. Now, what are my opinions on it? It's obviously the first time that I've used epoxy resin, so I've not got anything to compare it to other than videos that I've watched on YouTube. And videos that I've watched on YouTube gave me the impression it was going to be too much hassle. It wasn't going to be worth it with all the mixing and then the waiting 24 hours to demold it and then waiting up to 72 hours for it to fully cure. And the smell apparently is really bad. But with this one, I'm happy because it's less than 24 hours later and I have now got all my pieces here fully cured and ready to play with, to do whatever I want with. And there was very little smell. I would say if I was really working right close up to it, there was a slight smell, but I had a window open anyway and I had a mask on. But definitely it was nowhere near as bad as I would have expected it to be, although it does say that it has got a low odour, so I would agree with that. I think it's really gorgeous and clear. There's no yellowing and you can see the glitter detail there, very clear. And on that one you can see the iridescent colours very clear, as you can with that. I think that would have been lovely if I had made the resin white, so that it had something like a nicer background than just the bezel. But again, I'm learning. And yeah, just the general plain ones have turned out really nice as well. Look at the gloss on that. Really nice. I'm really happy with it. So let me know what you think of it. Like I said, I've not been paid for this, but I was gifted the resin. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. If I'm going to be using epoxy resin, that's the one that I'll be buying, because it is so easy to use and so fast to cure. And it was a reasonable price. I've not looked into the price of normal epoxy resin, but I'm sure this was $27.99. But you saw the size of the bottles and you get plenty in it. And yes, overall I was very, very happy with it. So thank you so much to JDiction for sending that to me. And let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Have you used epoxy in the past? Have you tried any JDiction products? Remember, I've tried their mica powder as well. That's what I used in all of those. And that wasn't gifted, that I paid for that with my own money. But I am generally very happy with that company as well as the product, because their customer service has been top notch as well. So highly recommended by me. Now I am going to go and play with all this and decide what I'm going to do with it all. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button. Remember, talk to me in the comments below, let me know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in our next one. Thanks everyone. Bye!